going live, only 1 minute late. I was changing some of my screen settings. How is everyone doing today? I'll give everyone a chance to sort of hop on here. I know that it can take a second for people to join. I'm really excited about Coding Club today. Today we're going to be working on something in the sandbox. We don't usually do that. Usually we're sort of following tutorials together, but not today. Today we're going to be going into the sandbox, which is really fun. It's sort of an open coding environment where we can make anything that we want. And it's sort of just like a playful place for us to go and learn. I'm going to go ahead and double check that this is working because no one is here today. Let's see. You know, I always wonder, this video is unavailable. Why? It looks like there's a problem with the server. One sec, let me try to do this again. Sorry guys, we'll be live in a second here. Although hypothetically we're live now. Can you guys let me know in the chat if you had trouble joining? Yeah, I can see the chat, Juhi. Hi. Oh, okay, no, it's totally working. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. I just kind of want to make sure. Okay, all right, cool. I think I just have to press the button a little bit earlier than I have been. But I'm not going to worry about that now. So what I was saying before, today we're going to be doing a sandbox activity, which is awesome. I love sandbox projects. To me, they're a bit more fun than the tutorials because we're able to be a bit more creative and like we're not following steps, you know, we're kind of just in this cool coding playground where we're able to make stuff. So today we're going to be making a magic 8-ball. So to start, go ahead and those of you who made accounts, sign in and just go to your dashboard, press start or press my classes, and then go ahead and press start coding. And then from here to get to the sandbox, we're actually going to go up here to starter projects and then scroll all the way down to get to the sandbox here. If you can't find it, that's fine. I'm going to post the link in the chat as well. So I just posted the link in the chat. Feel free to just go there directly instead of following the journey that I just did. And yeah, I'm excited. Sorry, I keep saying I'm excited. I did like a big teacher training today. So my coding brain is on, but I feel like my like talking brain is a little bit broken. So similar to tutorials, like it looks the same, except the difference is we don't have any instructions here. And we have all of the blocks we could ever possibly want. So instead of other tutorials where we get like one block at a time and it kind of tells us how to use it, on this one, we get all of the blocks. So today, like I said, we're going to be making a magic 8-ball. Let me just write that on the top here. And do you guys remember what a magic 8-ball is? It's like that thing where I can like ask it a question. So I can be like, magic 8-ball, should I leave my house today? And I can shake it. And then it'll tell me like maybe, like ask again, like you're doing great. Like if you guys remember like the magic conch episode of SpongeBob, we could also be like making a magic conch It's sort of up to you what way you want to take this. If you want it to be more of a magic conch, more of a magic 8-ball, but some kind of like magic advice giving algorithm. So how are we going to do that? So there's a few things that we have to do here. The first is, if we want, we could make an interaction, right? So to start, I'm actually just going to have it reload every time we refresh. So I'm like pressing the refresh button here. It seems like my mouse isn't on camera, which is weird. But if I press refresh here, then like it'll load something new. So I can do that, or I could go ahead and actually add some kind of interaction. So maybe I like have some element on my screen that I have to shake to get the answer. So we're going to do this in steps, right? We're programmers, so part of what we have to do is take big problems and break them into smaller parts. So I guess my first part was like what it was called. So then my next part here is I want to give an answer, right? Like in this purest form, all this will do is when this project is loaded, it'll give me some kind of answer. And it doesn't, like I could do lots of things. I could give like the user an input for them to ask a question. Ramya, it's purple because I haven't added anything yet. Or what do you mean? Are you able to see my whole code editor? Like the instructions and then the text editor and then this part? Let me know if you can't see my screen correctly. Oh, got it. So have you guys done, were you here when we did like random emoji? So essentially, it'll just, like in its most basic form, text will appear on the screen. Try again, or ask again. Yeah, so it'll be kind of like the random emoji project, except it has like a point. And we can do things like that. We can like add emojis and like I said, add like text input. But we're gonna do like the most basic feature first. So there's a few things that I need here. The first is a text function. So you need the text that's actually going to display your answer, right? So here I'm gonna say, I'm gonna have 2 lines of text. And if you are following along, you can go down to text here and drag it in. So text is right under drawing. It's these blue buttons. So go ahead and drag those in. You're going to get a couple elements on the screen. You're going to get a variable, which you're all familiar with if you've been to previous classes, clubs. And then this text function that's taking in my message hello and displaying it on my canvas. So from here, I want this to be my like magic 8-ball says, and then I'm going to have another line that says the actual answer. So I'm going to call, and we want to have like a variable name, so I'm going to say magic 8 label, and I'm going to say magic 8-ball says. I'm going to like go on a tangent really quick and change the background color just because I don't like it. You can do that just with movie.color. I'm going to make it blue. I feel like blue is kind of like witchy. I guess like dark green is like kind of like a witchy color. Yeah, cool. And then here I'm actually going to add an emoji. That's going to be sort of like a witchy emoji. Is there a witch emoji? Do you guys know? Like a witch's hat? I'm in the hats. I'll just use this one. There we go. As usual, if you guys want to add your own emojis, you can feel free to just use like something like Emojipedia and copy and paste them. I just use them from my like edit screen. There you go. Cool. So on here, I'm going to add a second line of code that actually has the Magic 8 Ball like response to me. So here, same thing as before. Oh, I love it. Thank you, Awesome Gamer. Yes. The chat comes through. I love it. Thank you so much. And I'm going to move this over a little bit. If you guys remember, and if I click on text, it shows me that I can pass in my message, my X position, and my Y position. X is going to be left and right. Y is going to be up and down. And I'm just going to like move it over a little bit so it's not right on the corner like that. So I'm moving it 15 pixels over to the right, and then just like 40 pixels down. There we go. Like instead of the green loops, yeah, I can do that. Like a really dark purple. Ooh, that is better. And it kind of matches my new witch emoji too, thank you. So the next thing I'm going to do is drag in text again. And move it under where the Magic 8 Ball is. So same X position and then like more of a Y position. Cool. And then it shouldn't say hello, it should say ask again. And I'm going to call this answer. And I'm also going to change the color of answer to make it clear that it is separate from my label here. I'm also going to make my label a little bit smaller. For those of you who are newer here, I'm just using dot notation here. So to change things like my text, I have to look at what I called it. So the word after the variable here is Magic 8 label, Magic 8 label, and I'm able to change different properties. So things like the size, things like the color of my text, things like the font, I can use those using the same sort of syntax with like the variable name and then the property. So I actually think there's a font just called like Fancy or something. This might not work. It's not super fancy. I think if I just like use like scripts. No. Maybe like there's like a romantic one. These are all giving me the same like sort of boring one. Maybe I'll just use like Impact, like the meme font. I hate all of these. I'm not choosing a font. I refuse. I'm just using the default. So the other thing I'm going to do is exactly like I did here to make this smaller. I'm going to change the size of my answer. So for those of you who are in the chat and who have been here for previous clubs, can you sort of let me know in the chat what kind of data structure would we be looking for to do this sort of project? So we essentially want a list of possible answers, and we want one to load every time I load this project. So let's say I generate like 10 things that this Magic 8 Ball could tell me. What sort of data structure would I use to hold those so I could pull one out at random? What do you think, people who have sort of been here for previous clubs? What do you guys think? I'm just going to go ahead and keep tweaking your project. Do you, You could also just name sort of things we've learned at random, like just words that we've learned, and there's like a 20% chance you'll be right. Okay, I'll tell you. So it's an array. We're going to be using an array uh, to edit or to save our list of possible answers. Is YouTube frozen? This drives me crazy. Okay, it unfroze. Let me know if I'm like freezing for you or anything weird like that. I'm like trying new settings on my streaming thing. Okay, cool. So here I'm going to go ahead and save this array. I'm going to call it answers, right? Because here I have just like a single answer. So my array is going to be a list of multiple answers. So I want to call it something that reflects that, which would be answers plural. And I'm going to make this just like open bracket, open array here to hold things. And then put in different answers. I don't know. Can you guys let me in the chat know things that like the magic conch or like the like a magic 8-ball would say? Let's see. Some of the things, I mean, ask again is already in there. I could say, let's see. Oh, Jeremy, amazing. There is a magic 8-ball emoji. You guys are the best. Why am I not on my emoji game at all today? Let me copy that one. There we go. Now I need to make my background a little bit less dark so you can see it. So Ramya, there's all kinds of different fonts you can have. Let me go on like a tangent here really quick. So there's all kinds of like web safe fonts. I'll go to the W3 Schools page for that. So really like anything here will work, anything they've listed. I'm actually just going to write in monospace. And I'll post this link in the chat too so you guys can go through it yourselves. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to change this to be like monospace. Cool. Oh, I like that so much better. Good call. I'm also going to make this bigger. I wanted to do this project for a while. We did this project in Web Dev Camp, and I really enjoyed it. So I wanted to bring it to Coding Club. Although we did it like on a web page, we didn't do it with like pure JavaScript like this. So let's see. We have ask again. We have like, you're great, do it, go ahead. Maybe not, you're amazing. And then I'm gonna have one answer that's just a bunch of sparkles. And then one that's like kind of scary. I'm gonna say, you've been cursed. I don't know. I think that could be kind of funny. You're like trying to like use a magic 8-ball and it turns out it's like a cursed object. Jeremy, so there's a few ways to change the position of the text. One is to do it with dot notation like this. So I could use like magic label, which is what I called my variable. You would use whatever is after the word var here. And you would write dot x equals some number or dot y equals some number. The other option is, do you see how I like passed in these numbers into this function here? So you can always like write after the message you send in. You can add the x position, which is going to be left and right, and then the y position with just these commas in between it. And that'll move your text around. So how do I access the things out of this array? Like, I'm glad that I have a list of things that this magic eagle could tell me. How do I use it? How do I actually update what it says? Does anyone remember? There's like a really specific syntax to edit or like to pull things out of arrays. And it looks really similar to the syntax to make arrays. Oh, you're welcome, Jeremy. So the answer is that I actually pull out like a number using these square brackets. So to edit so there's a few things to think about here. So the first is how I actually edit this answer object. It's saved in this variable called answer, which is awesome. It's step one. And then the next step is to actually change it. So I want to say like answer, and I'm just going to tell you the property to change is .message. I'm just going to like say anything, and it updates. That's great. It's not super helpful to me because it only updates once and it doesn't update with my array, but it updated and it looks good. So then my next sort of challenge here is to pull something from my array. So to do that, I have to count through my array. So the thing to know about arrays and programmers is that they start counting at 0. So ask anything is in the 0th place of this array, which is kind of confusing to think about. Usually when you think about where something is, you start with 1. Not true with arrays. You start with 0. So to get the very first element out of here, I would write answers, which is the name of my array, and then an open curly brace and a closed curly brace, and I'm going to write 0. And it's going to work. So then knowing that, how do you think I would pull out these like sparklies out of this array? What kind of syntax would I use for that? What do you guys think? So if this is how I pull out ask again, what would I write in here to get the sparklies out? So I could always count. I could say, all right, this is place 0, then this is go ahead as 1, then maybe not as 2, then you're amazing as 3, and then all of my sparklies are gonna be 4. Cool. So that's one way that I would do that. So go ahead and play around with that in your code. Just put in like the number that you're thinking of. If I go too far, nothing's going to happen. Like I'm not going to get an error. JavaScript kind of knows that you're just like being silly. It's not going to throw an error. It's going to let you just go past it, but nothing's going to show up. In other programming languages, if I go beyond where my array is, I am going to get an error. Ramya, could you post your code in the chat? Oh, actually, So answer is answer.message for me because of what's on line 9. So you have to name it whatever you named your like text object. So you would write your text var name dot message instead of answer dot message, and that should do it. Okay, cool. This is actually too big with you've been cursed. It's not fitting. I'm going to make it smaller. Rami, I love this. For those of you who are watching, I just posted Rami's code into my project. Yeah, this totally works for me, Ramya. So I think like the only reason you would be getting answer not defined is because you're trying to write answer when it's expecting something else. So here, if you see this, I have answers, plural, because that's the name of this array. And answer.message, I'm only saying answer here because that's what I called my text function. Awesome Gamer, what is your error? Yeah, whenever you guys have an error, you can just go ahead and post your code in the chat, or post what the error message says, because otherwise it can be like kind of hard. Okay, cool. Cloud. Sorry, I'm like adding weather emojis to my project. Interesting. So awesome gamer. Go ahead and post your code if you can, but from what that is saying, I would expect that you have an open parenthesis and maybe don't have a closed one. So some things that could be wrong. One of the things could be you don't have a quotation mark around one of your messages. Maybe you're missing a comma. So you're probably missing a comma. I deleted a comma and I'm getting that same error. So you probably need to go through your array element by element and make sure that you have a comma between every single thing. And that should fix it. Luke's. As far as when I post answers 5, nothing shows up. So part of that reason could be that you don't have anything in the 5th element of your array. So here I have, I'm trying to get rid of this error message. So I have things in the 0th element of my array, the 1st, the 2nd, or the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th. So if I type any of those in between 1 and 6, I'm going to see something. 7, I'm not. And that's because there is no 7th element in my array. Yeah, so like does answer 6 work? Because you might just be at the end of your array. Okay. I'm gonna answer Awesome Gamer in the chat really quick. Okay, cool. So Ramya, you would be getting that error message if you never saved the answers array anywhere. I believe from the code you sent me, so if you have this code somewhere in your array, so this code should be before this code. There's like a little bit of a delay, so I think sometimes my chat is going to appear before you guys actually hear me talk, which is a little bit annoying. I'm going to see if I can change that in the settings. I think you need like some delay, but I wish it wasn't like so much of a delay, you know? So answer 5 was the end of my array, and it didn't. Okay. Yeah, so some of the questions that people might have been having, like Ramya, so like this code here, answer.message equals answer 6, I have to write that after I create my answers array, because otherwise my program will be like reading through it, and it'll try to like pull out answers element 6, and it's like, you never made this array, like what are you doing? Even if you made it down further, because it reads your code in order. All right, let me go ahead and pull in Luke's code. So Luke's, I have your code here. It looks like we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements. Yeah, so that's exactly right. So because arrays start counting at 0, and I'm going to paste this into the chat too. Since arrays start at 0, you have 0 to 5 elements. Cool. All right, so let's start working on the next step here. So I'm glad that we're able to like pull out messages from here. I can do all the messages. It's great. It works awesome. But I'm not going to be here. Like, I'm not going to be sitting here like fixing this code every time someone asks a question. I need to write a program to do that for me. And I'm going to use something like called randomness here. Let's see. Yeah, you got it, Luke. So if you guys go down to random, it's under math, and drag that in, it's going to give you an error immediately. But don't worry, it's fine. It's just like, what do you want me to do with this information? This time when I did it, the top highlighted, it said the same thing again. Rami, what do you mean by that? Okay, cool. Oh, that's awesome, Jeremy. I'm excited to see all your projects. I'm going to pull them up at the end. So I get an error immediately. It's fine. It's just like, what do you want me to do with math.random times 100? And the first thing I'm going to do is just say log it. Just show me what it says. For those of you who haven't used log before, it just sends a message to my console. So I'm able to, every time I refresh my screen, see a new number. Oh, cool, Rami posted. Yeah. Rami, I think this is good. So does it say answers not defined or answer not defined? because this is right, but I think what might be happening is that you don't have a text variable called answer. Because this is perfect. It's totally working on my project. But I think if you don't have an answer variable, then it's not going to work. So you have to make sure that you have, and I'll type this in the chat too, you have to make sure you have a variable set to answer. Cool. I hope that helps. So what math.random does, the math library is actually something that's built into JavaScript. If you're typing it yourself and not using a block, you have to make sure that the word math is capitalized. I'm not sure, Ramya. It shouldn't be. Here, can you also, I'll put my email in here. Can you like send me like a picture of your code or something? Because I'm not sure and I want to help you work through it. Okay, cool. Hopefully, Ramya sends me one. So basically, math has like a bunch of different things stored in it. For example, if I write like math.py here instead of math.random, it's going to give me pi, or at least pi up to a certain number of variables. Luke, so you're going to add well, I hope that helps. Okay, Luke's cool. Yeah, so for example, I have like math.py here. If instead I write math.random, and it's actually a function, so I need that open and close parenthesis, then I get a number between 0 and 1. Refresh. And every single time I get a new number. If I didn't want to log it, I could write answer.message. And now every time I refresh, equals, I forgot my equals sign, I get a new random number. That's kind of helpful, right? Like, but not really. I need a random number between 0 and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't need a random number between 0 and 1 with all these like numbers after it. I can't even use a number with all of these decimals after it. If I like say in my answers, take out answer 4.5, it's not going to do anything. So at 4, it gave me my stars. At 3, it gives me you're amazing. At 3.5, it gives me nothing. It's like, what do you mean? What's the 3.5th place? It's nothing. It's meaningless. So I need to change this. I need to edit this number so that it gives me a number I can actually use. So there's a few things I have to do for that. The first is I have to use this thing called math.floor. And that is going to take my number and bring it down to like the next lowest number. So if I refresh, it's actually always going to be 0 right now because I was trying to get a number between 0 and whatever, like 1, and so it's always going to round down to 0. But if I multiply this by the number of things in my array, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, now it gives me something that I can actually use. actually think I should multiply this by 7. Cool. So this is that code. I'll just post it here so you guys can have it. Just so you don't have to like type it yourselves and deal with typos and stuff. But now I need to use this number to pull something out of my array. Like this also doesn't help me. What am I doing with this number? So I'm gonna go ahead and delete answer.message equals, copy this and move it to line 15 and save it in a variable. So I'm gonna say var num randnum equals math.floor times math.random times 7. And then in here, I'm just going to change this to random. Oh, and there we go. Oh my gosh, it took the whole 45 minutes. But we have a working thing. We didn't get to any of the other features that I wanted, but it's fine. Here's the code that actually makes that happen. And then Ramya, if you could send me the link to your project, I can spend the last 3 minutes I can help you debug it. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and submit this. I love this. Yeah, it doesn't have all the features that I wanted, but it has its core functionality. It's an MVP, if you will, a minimum viable magic 8 ball. I'm actually just going to use the magic 8 ball emoji as my name. Let's see. I couldn't find it, so I'm like dependent on whoever posted it. Where was it? There it is. Jeremy. There we go. I'm just going to post it like... Okay, I posted it 8 times. Actually, I guess I should have said like instructions, right? Like I should have told people how to use it. Like refresh the project to see a new answer. But like that would have been a good thing to put in the description or in comments in my project. But it's too late. So that's okay. Actually, it's not too late. I'll edit it really quick. Submit, and I'll add instructions on how to press refresh, or like ask a question and press refresh under the project to see your future. I'll add a heart, or actually I'll add this like this thing. Perfect, I love it. Great, so now I have instructions here. Someone can actually know how to use this. Thank you all for participating. I'm gonna open up the sandbox projects and see if anyone submitted anything. And I'll show your projects off. Oh my God, there's a bunch in here. You guys are amazing. You're faster than me. Okay, I'm gonna open Chomchies and then VidCode Learners. If that's okay with everyone. So this is Chomchies. And it works. Oh my gosh. What should I ask it? Should I code anything else today? Go ahead. Awesome. Thank you so much, Magic 8 Ball. Let's see. Okay, awesome. So I'm actually gonna mess around with Ramya's here. So Ramya, I think I have your project. Cool. So if I know, okay. So it looks like it's pointing me right here. Cursed is not defined. Interesting. Oh, okay. So you actually have a rogue quotation mark. So this is why it looked right to me for so long. Um, So first, you have to delete the quotation mark after 65 or before 65, because there was that open quotation mark without a closed one. But then it looks like we still have something that we're complaining about. This looks right. This looks right. This looks right. So then here we have ask again. Maybe not. You have been cursed. It doesn't like this. Oh, I found it. Um, so Ramya, you pressed enter after cursed. So your app thought that cursed was like a new line, like a new part of your code. Um, and so it saw this open quotation mark, but didn't see that this closed quotation mark had matched it. So yeah, here, let me. So here's the project with the working code, Ramya. Cool. Let me show one more project for everyone who's still here. Because you're all amazing. Okay, I'm opening the one with the galaxy background. I think this is Jeremy's, and I love it. Oh no, what? There's a bug! Oh no. Um, okay, Jeremy, let me go ahead and remix your project. You're welcome. So it looks like, I'm in Jeremy's right now. It looks like answer is not defined. Okay, this is because you have two variables called answers. So there's two variables called answers. This one on line 4 is holding your text. And this one on line 7 is holding your text array. So when like line 7 appears, it basically deletes this. So I think what I have to do here is just turn answers, this first one on line 4, into answer, answer, answer. So I edited these. Oh, I have, let me update this so it's like also a space background. When I remix a project, your assets don't move over. Cool. Yeah, this totally works. You just had like a weird variable thing. Okay, cool. Let me open one more, just because these are all amazing and I'm really impressed with everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and open VidCode Learners. Oops. What? Oh my god. So VidCode Learner actually gave us like their own custom object here to show the answer, which is absolutely amazing. Let me put a final project example in. Wow. So we actually have not only all of these different answers, we have like different colors and sizes based on what answer we did. So we have like custom X positions, custom font sizes. This is absolutely beyond incredible. Thank you, VidCode Learner. I like couldn't be more impressed with this project. Um, cool. Uh, well, thank you all so much for coming. It looks like a few people dropped off. I know I went over the 45 minutes. But these were all great. And I don't know what we're going to do next week yet. I have to decide. Um, but probably something fun. Maybe we'll do like a game again, but like a short game. Because last time we did a game, it took 5 weeks. And I will see you all next Tuesday. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, everyone.